if you can structure your offer in such a way where you can collect more cash up front or turn that person into a member sooner than the person on the other side, like you're going to be able to spend more to acquire a customer than your competition and will be able to win in that way, right? Like I love the idea of just being able to get so good, so dialed on every piece of your sales process that it's like, yeah, I'm going to spend so much on advertising that I just discourage the fuck out of you.
Welcome to the Gym Member Machine Podcast.
Beep, beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep. It's the final countdown, and we could try to hit the high notes, but it's our last, what should be the last episode of at least the current run of your burning ads questions. Let's get into ads. What's the first question? I don't even have them up today. Let's raw dog this thing.
Okay, we have more questions regarding ads. The first one is rounding out some of the questions about targeting an audience. The question is, how do I reach people over 40 effectively? And that could also be over 40, over 50.
Yeah. So this kind of goes back to the, like when you're setting up your targeting, the three things we talked about in the last episode, set age, location, and gender. Meta at this point does still allow you to target people within that given age range. So it's actually quite simple to limit your targeting to folks that are within the age demographics that you are attempting to hit. For additional potential value on an unasked question that maybe should be asked, well, what age ranges tend to do best on advertising? And so for the most part, what we see, man, over 40 is that sweet spot. On Meta at this point, you're typically advertising at both Facebook and Instagram, at both platforms at once. It's very simple to do. You can then look at reports and decide whether or not, are you getting most of your leads from Instagram? Are you getting most of your leads from Facebook itself? What have you? You can do that testing. But for the most part, the most profitable demos tend to be in that 40 plus age range. They just seem to be a little bit less expensive to go ahead and reach. And also they tend to be better clients for you long-term for reasons that we've discussed on past episodes, right? They're going to value really good, high quality coaching more than somebody who's, a young 30-year-old whippersnapper who could do whatever the heck they want and not get hurt. Like that person can go to Orange Theory and just pound away on a treadmill and different machines and whatever for a while and be okay. Whereas like my mother-in-law tried Orange Theory, couldn't keep going because of her knees, right? Like she needs another thing to be able to have reach her fitness goals and aspirations, which is, probably more in alignment with the folks that are listening to this podcast. The other thing, like the subtext of that question, how do I reach them effectively? Targeting is one thing, being effective with the advertising is another. And so if you're trying to market to let's just say 40 plus year old women on the island of fitness misfits, well, gosh, like your copy and your imagery, your creative probably shouldn't be geared toward what you think is awesome as a 26-year-old former athlete that's still deadlifting 600 pounds and is super proud of your 8-pack, right? Like that's not going to resonate with that audience. So you want every single piece of your advertisement, from the copy, yes, the offer, although offers can be more agnostic, but the language and verbiage around the offer, the creative itself, the images that you're using, video, etc., it should all be geared toward the target market that you're trying to reach, regardless of what that target market is. If you're trying to target men, I think we mentioned this on the last episode a little bit, great. We should have images of dudes. Right? We should at minimum speak to the pain points, issues, goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations of dudes in the age range that you are dealing with, right? And if you're trying to target the 20-year-old freaking, who's the guy that does like the meth and shit, supposedly, that's like, it's like a new thing on the internet that I haven't looked into and stuff. It's like looks maxing or whatever. It's like the clavicular, right? It's like if you're trying to target like the 16 to 20-year-old freaking idiots, like your messaging is going to be different than if you're trying to target a 45-year-old, idiot, used to be an athlete, whatever. Like they're going to have a different thought process. They're going to be a different place in life, hopefully, and would require different messaging. So I don't know if that hits it or puts a bow on it, or at least starts to.
Yeah. And my favorite thing about old people is they have all the money. And I like the idea you said about being stalk proof. Like when you look at your page, having not just And then you can look back at a previous episode that will be posted by the time you're hearing this. Be Sam, not Frodo. Epic messaging about making your clients the hero versus yourselves. All right. Is retargeting still worth it?
This is one of those tough ones. So retargeting, lookalike audiences, fancy sort of iterations on your ads. This certainly used to be one of the things that I used to say, look, like in local marketing, most of the time people are talking about this. It is someone like me trying to scare someone like you, dear gym owner, into making you think this stuff is way more complicated than it is so that you want to give me money, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't always lead to better results. Now, I think the best answer here is marketing is a 9-letter word for experiment, and you should be testing these things. What I will tell you is retargeting for most gyms tends to create audiences that are still so small that it's just going to be so expensive to reach those eyeballs. And because your audience is already so limited, if you're targeting the way we tell you to, age, location, gender, you're already hitting those eyeballs realistically, right? Where we're testing some and where I think there is maybe some room for additional testing, iteration. I'd maybe hypothesize that there's a little bit more juice to than in other more traditional retargeting mechanisms is if you can take people that have engaged with some of your organic video content, watched a given percentage of your organic stuff, and then create an audience out of that. Potentially even lookalike audiences out of that if you've got enough people. I forget what the threshold is. I feel like those thresholds changed. You need 100 people on the list. You need 1,000. Those numbers will change. Basically, the threshold of the audience size to allow you to make a lookalike audience out of the base audience. Those thresholds change a little bit, I believe. I think that potentially has more juice to it. Realistically, 99 times out of 100. We're not seeing retargeting do much in the way of improving results.
Yeah, much like in fitness, sometimes complexity sells, but people just need the basics. Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Block and tackle.
With creative and messaging, the first question is, what kind of ads actually convert for gyms right now?
Yeah, it's another big, it depends, right? So when we say what kind of ads convert, like what piece of the ad process are you talking about, right? Are you talking about the offer, right? Well, we've spoken, I think, pretty relatively deeply on the offer piece in, I think, the first Q&A potentially. Lots of different types of ads work at this stage. I think the primary thing that I would tell you in terms of what ads are working well right now would be ads that follow the principles that we've mentioned already. Right. So do you have an offer that is compelling to the target market that you're trying to reach? Do you have copy and creative? And as you mentioned on the stock proof, stockability through the rest of the funnel, which is in that Sam versus Frodo episode, if we're hitting on those basic fundamentals, like those ads tend to work. If we're going image versus video, images work, videos work. Now I think this is a future question that we haven't answered yet. So I'll get into more detail on that here in a second, but all sorts of ads work if we are hitting the base level fundamental things. So to go back to the original question, lots of different ads, lots of different offers work right now. It's a matter of really taking a scientific mindset to what you're doing. What is the hypothesis? Who are we trying to target? Can we make sure all of the messaging and every piece of the process operates like John Carlton says, legendary copywriter? We want every piece of the process to operate as a greased slide for the lone individual that we were speaking to on the other side, right? Because again, I think I'll reiterate this. I said this on the last episode. We're not talking to a market. We are talking to an individual on the other side of the screen, right? Whether it's a phone, the computer, whatever. We're talking to one person. We're trying to make this ad connect to the one person that is reading this on the other side of the screen. And if the other person is going through your ad saying, holy shit, like this is for me, get out of my head, like you're answering questions and objections and things like that I had about doing something like this before they've even like cropped up to my freaking brain, like this is amazing, like you're hitting all of the high notes that I was looking for on this thing, like absolutely opting in. And then when they go look at everything else, it's the same way, like, oh, this, like, it's so coherent, it's congruent with what I saw on the initial ad, the initial imagery, everything else. It's like everything about this process is screaming, this is for me, the individual reading the ad. If you can hit on those things, then you're going to be doing pretty well. If you're not, you're probably not, right? And we need to go back to making sure that we're speaking to that, singular target market.
All right, GRC, I'm running ads. Should I use video or images?
Good question. So pros and cons to both. Your images tend to lead, we'll hit like the broad strokes, high notes. Images tend to lead to more volume, less quality. Your video ads tend to lead to less volume, more quality. Does that always hold? Absolutely not, right? Don't put up a great video ad, say we're getting more lead volume, and then say like GR is a liar. Like, no, like it varies. These are the rules that we've seen in testing friggin' thousands of these campaigns, if not more, right? At this point. So by and large, images, higher volume, lower quality. Video, lower volume, slightly higher quality. The issues with video is going to fatigue a lot faster. And by a lot, I mean like friggin' logarithmic. I never did the calculus and stuff like that. So I don't know what scale the math increases on how fast videos fatigue in comparison to images, but goddamn it, it's at least exponential, right? If not more than that. When people are scrolling and they see the same video over and over and over, they've got a lot less patience for that than they do like an image. It's just different, right? It fatigues differently. The other thing with images is you can use the same base image and dress that up in different ways really, really easily, right? Everyone knows what freaking Canva is. You got AI tools at this point, whatever. It's like you can take the same image and put it in black and white. You can tell AI, just make the background black and white and keep these subjects, keep the humans in it in color. You could drop, text graphics and change the text graphics and everything else. So images are a lot easier to milk for a longer period of time than your video stuff. Now, your video things, like, sometimes video ads can work really well. The downside of that is your skill has to be way higher, right? You've got to actually be good on video. And so if you don't have somebody that's honest with you in your life about how good or bad you actually are on camera, because not everyone is good on camera, right? And it is a skill and it takes practice. You're not going to, even if you did everything else right, like your video ads aren't going to do well if you freaking suck on camera. If you've got the personality of a freaking pinky toenail clipping, like your video ad's not going to do well. And so there's a higher skill requirement to that. You're likely going to have to edit the video to keep it with like social media, punchy, short attention span, all that fun stuff. In images, it's like, now you can just go ask AI, right? You can go to Canva. And it's like so easy, drag, drop, whatever. So there's a lower skill requirement to the imagery. It can be milked for longer, a higher lead volume, lower lead quality, what have you. Do both work? Yes. But as you are considering, hey, should I test video? Should I mess with this? Like, sure, you can absolutely test both, particularly if you have someone honest in your life that's like, yeah, you're like not bad on video. You could test it. Just know that if you do go the video ad route, you're going to have to be refreshing that creative, doing new creatives much more often than if you're just using images.
Awesome. And GR, you hit on this next piece a little bit already, but just to drill in on why would prospects be clicking on but not filling out the form in ads?
Yeah, some of that's normal. So some people are just like looky-loos. Like you're never going to have 100% conversion rate of people clicking from the ad onto the page or what have you, whether it's a lead form or a landing page or whatever it is. You probably see this more often with landing pages, because landing pages, like you've got to have copy, you've got to have good stuff put together on there. Like you've got almost like a higher bar for congruency, copy, and content that need to match what happened on the offer, right? Does the landing page drapes match the offer carpet, right? Or the carpet match the drapes, whatever. Same thing for the lead form. So like, with the lead form, if your offer is a 7-day free VIP pass, and then on the lead form, it doesn't mention that, right? Or it mentions a completely different offer or whatever it is, like people are going to opt out, right? Like they're going to click out and end up not opting in. So you want congruency throughout the process. Other things would be, this is like copy stuff. I don't know if we have questions on copy. I know we did at the event. Like, are we talking about features or are we talking about benefits? right? So are we talking about, customized training programs? Okay. So that is a feature. The questions that we should be asking ourselves if we are going to sit in the copywriter's seat are, what's so great about that? Right? We want to be thinking about everyone's favorite radio station. Do you remember this, Dave? Do you remember everyone's favorite radio station? Have I taught you this yet?
I have heard you say it. I believe it's WIIFYM, something like that, which is what's in it for me.
So close. Yeah. There's no Y. Yeah, WIIFM
what's
radio,
in it
right?
for me? WIIFM.
Yeah. So what's in it for me? So you want to be asking yourself, like, from the viewpoint of your prospect, what's in it for me? What's so great about that? Why should I freaking care? If it's customized training programs, right? Why should I care as the prospect about customized training programs? If it's a 6-to-1 coach-client ratio, why should I care? Right? Who knows? Right? You've got to expressly state that for your prospect. If you've got a 10,000 square foot space with hundreds of treadmills, right? Like you say, oh, we have over 100 treadmills. Like, that is a feature. That is like the perfect benefit, the perfect example of a feature for your gym. Now, what might a benefit look like, right? Well, we need to ask ourselves why the prospect should care about that thing. Well, why should I care as a prospect if you've got 100 freaking treadmills in your gym? It's like, well, we've got hundreds of pieces of equipment, hundreds of treadmills, so you can always get in. You're never waiting on a machine for somebody to get off. You can get in, get your workout done, get a great workout in, get on with your life, right? Something along those lines. So we want to make sure that we're speaking to the benefits that the people on the other side of the table actually care about, people on the other side of the screen in this case actually care about. And a lot of times we miss that in, whether it's lead form or landing page copy or whatever it is. So like, those are like, some of it's normal. You want to make sure everything is congruent. You want to make sure that you are speaking to the benefits and not just the features. Like, sometimes features can be good. You need to make sure you're hitting the benefits too.
All right. I'm running ads of getting leads, but I don't like them. So GR, tell me, why are my leads low quality?
Some of it's normal. This is unfortunate and annoying coming from somebody who sells advertising. Having some low quality leads are absolutely normal. It is normal on particularly the Meta platform. You're going to get this on Google too, whatever. Like, there's never a situation where every single lead that you get from any platform is going to come in with their clothes off, credit card out, saying, take my money and my body, daddy. It doesn't happen that way, right? We'd be freaking billionaires if it worked that way. It doesn't. Sorry, right? Like, sorry to rain on your parade or tell you that freaking Santa doesn't exist or whatever. It just doesn't work that way. And so some of it is just normal. We need to be looking at the math. The other side, right, if I go to the completely other side of the equation, is how good is the actual follow-up, right? And I can say this to our listeners because it's not like to a client that's grumpy about bad lead quality, that's, getting ready to think about firing us or whatever. And like, you're just trying to keep my money and blame me. It's like, no, like, if you put a gun on my head, right? If you threaten to do something to my family, my kids, whatever it is, and say, GR, if you lie about this, like, we're going to do something bad to them. We're going to make sure they never have a birthday party for the rest of their beautiful little childhoods. Like, I'm telling you the same thing, right? Most of the time when we have a really, really like grumpy client complaining about lead quality, if I talk to a gym owner talking about lead quality, they are missing on the follow-up, right? And the issue with the ad platforms and everything else at this point, and we've talked about this at different times, the bar for being good, for being excellent at a given thing, for what the expectations are of your market, for what your competition is doing, is so much higher than it was 3, 5, 10 years ago. So you can no longer say, like, literally in the mastermind that I've talked about, that I used to be a part of, when I was coaching in 10 years ago or whatever it was, like, they used to say, like, yeah, here's your voicemail. Like, you say this, that, and the other, you never answer the phone, and you say you're going to get back to people within 24 to 48 hours or whatever. Like, dude, you can't do that anymore. Because what happens now is Facebook serves your ad. Say somebody clicks on it, even if they don't opt in, right? But let's just say in this case they opt in, right? Because this is your lead. They opt in. When they come back to the Facebook platform after opting in, doing whatever they're going to do on your, ensuing funnel, they're going to see more ads from things in your category. It's not retargeting. It is Meta saying, oh, you're helping us spend money, or you're helping us earn money by getting clicks for our advertisers. Fantastic. You're interested in personal training right now? Great. We're going to show you all the different ads from people that are, categorized as gyms, personal training, what have you, in your area that are targeting you, because it seems like that's what you're clicking on right now, right? You have experienced this, dear listener, on your Meta platform when you click one of the ads and you come back and like everything in the newsfeed now is related to gym agencies or sunglasses or freaking vacation, like whatever the hell the thing is. Meta's going to show you more of that thing. The issue is if you do a shit job on follow-up, right, and you're not hitting speed to lead, you're not having a good quality conversation, you're not trying to get that person booked right away, you don't have text and email automations going out, and the gym down the street that got served after you, right, that person opted into after you, they do have those things, and they call immediately and they get that person booked. And then when you call the next day, that person's ghosting you because they've already gone to the other gym, found their new fitness family and signed up. That wasn't a low quality lead, right? That's not a shit lead, that's shit follow-up. And in most cases, when we see people complaining about lead quality across the board, a good chunk of it's that. A good chunk of it is like, we're not following up. And so the way we think about it at GMM, because again, like we try, like I say these things that I feel like they can sound mean. Like we've been at 3% churn on average for the past like 6-7 years. That's with an open door for clients to leave whenever the heck they want, right? 30-day cancellation policy. If our clients weren't making money, they would not still be paying us, right? People are winning with this stuff. That said, maybe I'll turn around in a different way slightly. Like we set really hard expectations on how, like what the expectations should be from cold traffic. Like we tell you, it's like, hey, like 10% lead to close is not awful. If 10 people give you their name, email, phone number, and you get 10% in, like that's not bad, right? And we want to make sure that your offer is structured in such a way. We've talked about this on the ROI side, I think, in one of the last couple of episodes, one of the last couple of Q&As. We want to make sure your offer is structured where you can get that ROI immediately, even if you're only converting 10% of your leads, right? 20% is pretty good. So when we talk to our gym owners, when we're trying to get them successful, again, we try to think with the gym owners' wallets in mind, because we want their wallets to be happy so that they selfishly continue to pay us, so I can buy Lego Lambos, right? That's fun. We want to look at, if we're getting a complaint about lead quality, or even if it's not a complaint, it's just like, hey, I'd love to see if we can get more quality leads. You do not want to solve a bad follow-up problem with a lead quality solution. Because if you do that, if you pull levers, because there's a number of levers you can pull. I'm not going to say infinite because it's not infinite, but there are probably like a couple dozen levers that you can pull to try to increase the lead quality that you're receiving from your ads. We talked about, video versus image creative. Well, if you're struggling with lead quality, one of the things you can do is try to like do some video ads, right? And that might turn up the dial on lead quality. You might be adjusting targeting. You might add more premium messaging in the copy, whatever it is. But if we try to do those things, if we add additional questions on the lead form to make sure we're getting a more qualified person, and the follow-up still sucks, all you're going to be doing is spending more money to get each lead and still having shit conversion. So the way that we look at it at GMM, when we are working with a gym owner, like hand in hand, arm in arm, trying to work towards whatever their personal end zone is, we're going to look at the follow-up first and make sure that the follow-up boxes are checked. And if those boxes are checked and we still, all right, yeah, we want to bring conversion up. We do think we have room in this market to spend a little bit more on each lead to get that quality up a little bit. And we think the math is going to work out. Then we will go pull the lead quality levers, because again, if we do it with somebody who's not doing the follow-up, and again, a lot of the times we get this complaint, it's like, dude, you called these prospects one time, and oftentimes it was on like day 2 and 3 after they became a prospect. What are we doing here? If we keep doing that, then we're fucked, right? Like this isn't going to work out. So that's sort of our progression for how we look at things. You want to make sure the follow-up box is checked. Then we'll go and start trying to pull, dials on things like that. Other things you could see, why are the leads low quality? We talked about the lead form thing. Are you using high volume or high intent lead forms? You want to be using high intent. That's a really big piece. Is your targeting set up optimally for your market? One of the things that we'll look at when folks are struggling with maybe people from out of the area or what have you is, are you in an airport city? right? Are you somewhere where people are traveling to a lot? If that's the case, then, and you do this with like lower income zip codes, right? Some people, it's like literally like a different freaking side of the tracks or one street. There's nobody that's going to be a target for your gym. And on the other side, everyone's going to be a target for your gym. Well, you probably want to try to see if you can't drop a red pin, okay, on Facebook and exclude these different areas, exclude the airport if you can, because Facebook at this point does not allow you to target people who live in an area. So you've got to do some exclusions. You want to make sure your targeting is set up as optimally as you can. And I think that's my primary soapbox for lead quality. I think I hit a lot of notes there.
Okay, so I'm going to dial in the follow-up, speed the lead, automations, all the things. Let's say I'm ready to go all in with that piece. What should I say in my actual ads themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is stuff that we've talked about already, right? So to get more specific, you want to have a really good hook. The best hooks to me include some sort of identification portion of it. This feels cheesy, but it works, right? So it could be, freaking Austin area. What's the little suburb you're in? You're in like Westlake or whatever the hell, right? It's like Westlake, Bee Cave, whatever. It'd be like, what's the suburb? Bee Cave area, women over 40, right? And either before, like directly before, like the early part of that sentence or the end part of that sentence, we might have something about the actual offer itself for the gym or whatever. Like, this is for you, whatever it is. But identification hooks tend to be something that you really should have in your ads, even though I don't think people necessarily, like the gym owners don't typically feel great about them, right? Like it feels cheesier than it should be. You'd like things to be able to be cooler and still work. Like I'm going to be a slave to the data and not the dogma, not my feelings. I'm going to listen to the facts and not my feelings. And I'm going to go with the thing that works. And typically the identification type hooks are a good first piece there. Other frameworks that you can use, we use the principle, if you've got it, flaunt it. So if you're running some sort of free offer, like don't do this whole story and everything else before you mention that the thing is free, right? You want to have that be way up top above the fold, part of the freaking headline. Like we want to make sure if we've got it, we are flaunting it and flaunting it early as opposed to hiding it down in the bullets. A really powerful framework that we will use for the ads. Again, identification, hook, whatever. We'll unpack whatever the offer is for that studio. And then the thing that I think a lot of people miss that would make a lot of their copywriting better is I call them objection bullets, but I think objection/benefit bullets. So we've already talked a little bit about the benefit thing, right? The other thing I like to do is think about the objections that your prospect is going through in their head as they are thinking about as they're considering doing something at a place like yours, right? They're considering doing something in fitness. And so my favorite, I should pull it up, right? You want me to pull up my shin? This is ironic because it's like, you can't get it up there. Sorry, I don't have hip mobility. Yeah, I've got a big old gash on the shin. I don't know if you guys listened to the episode. I started doing CrossFit and then I lost focus on a big set of box jumps, and it was early in the set. I wasn't even fatigued yet. It was the first freaking set of stuff, and I got a freaking gash from hell. It is gigantic, and I'm bruised, and it's awful, and yeah, it's fun. But one of the things that was a part of probably our most successful ad of all time was like, we don't make you throw crazy weights over your head and scrape your shins on boxes. Right? We do like safe, fun, effective workouts that, even the most I've never worked out in years workout rookie can do and enjoy or something like that. Right? Well, what is that doing for us? That's addressing an objection that our typical target market, the 35 or 40 or 45 plus year old, really anybody, could be male or female, right? That bullet works both ways. Might be having. That might be a story they're telling themselves in your head to keep them from doing something at a place that they think in their head is like yours, right? So if you're XYZ Fitness and they went and scraped their shin on a box or hurt their shoulder doing 85 snatches for time or whatever else, right? Like that's not a dig on freaking CrossFit. I love CrossFit now. Like I've seen really great coaching at CrossFit facilities. Just like, are there bad ones? Are there bad actors in every modality of fitness? Like, yeah, I would argue yes. But if they went and had a bad experience, or even just like saw something online and got scared, and they're thinking every gym is like this CrossFit game stuff that I saw on ESPN a few years ago, whatever, they're going to be afraid of doing something like that, right? And so if we can write a bullet point that handles that objection and handles that story for them before they've even got a chance to voice it to you, that's a very powerful thing to have in your copy. And so if you can go through and say, okay, like, what are the objections? One of the best places to get this is from conversations with your current members and the prospects. If you're getting consultations, right? Like, what are they telling you? What objections are you getting? If you can go back to past members, like your current members, like past signups, and say, okay, Dave, like, I'm going to talk to you, like, you've signed up for GR's gym. What might have scared you? Like, was there anything that was like making you hesitant to come into the gym for the first time? Was there anything you were afraid of? What surprised you when you came in for the first time? Were you having any sort of second thoughts before the initial meeting with us where you were like, if this happens, I'm not going to do this, or I'm really worried that they're going to do this thing? Like, hit me with that. And ask those one at a time. Don't just freaking ramble and not let the person answer. Hopefully that's clear to the gym owner on the other side. But if you can ask those questions, that can create freaking copywriting gold for you, right? Because they might tell you, oh, well, no, I did this XYZ fitness in the past, and I was afraid I was going to have this experience. Whatever this experience is, great. That can be a bullet that you put into your ad to address that objection story, et cetera, that the person is having as they are like reading your ad, that would otherwise keep them from opting into your thing, right? It's a very powerful copy tool. You can also do positive, like, benefit driven stuff. So is it community? Is it, you want to make sure, like, you can't just say community, guys, right? Like, you need to like unpack it a little bit. Back in COVID, it was cleanliness, right? People were scared of gyms. Oh, scared of COVID, whatever else. And so for a long time there, like during the COVID window, and that was different for lots of different gyms. Like, we had a bullet point in there that was like, everything goes down at our meticulously maintained, facility, like, so clean. Members ask if they can eat off the floor. Like, we ask them not to, like something like that. Okay, yeah. Or you've got your own personal, 6x6 pod. Like, if you were in COVID and trying to run ads to get gyms in the door, like, you wanted to make sure you address that objection, because the prospect is absolutely thinking that as they are considering opting in for your thing. So what should you say in your ads? Have the identity call out / hook, get into the offer. If you've got it, flaunt it. And then objection benefits bullets are very powerful. Top it off with a very, very clear next action, right? I want one friction-free door. I want to tell them what to do next and what to expect on the other side. And then you're into, then they've clicked, right? And we get into the stuff that we've talked about on the other questions today.
You touched on the offer for a second there with if you've got it flaunted, especially with like a free offer, but just in general, what offers work best? Was it like a 6-week challenge, free trial, or other things you've seen?
Yeah, I felt like we did a big deep dive on the 4 types of offers in the first iteration of this, where we talked about the 4 different angles folks could take. It could be free 7-day, free 14-day. You could even go really aggressive with a free 30-day, which we talked about. It could be the contrasting AB. You could also go with the like traditional LBO, or the like higher ticket, longer term transformation. My favorites, and I'd recommend like going back to that episode, are either free or a contrasting AB, which you can advertise with either the actual offer juice itself or a curiosity driven offer on the contrasting AB, right? So like premium personal training, we use them for pre-sale or founding member specials, things like that. Those would be a curiosity driven ad where we're not putting the specific offer in the copy. It's not 6 weeks for this, right? It's summer thingies at XYZ gym, right? For specifically for blah, 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 target market identifier, right? Whatever it is, with the objection and benefit bullets below it, clear CTA. But yeah, I think we hit that one already. And I think I went deep on it, if I remember correctly. So I won't waste our listeners' earballs to hear it again.
I am a gym owner. I've been creeping around Facebook ads library. I've been seeing what other gyms are running, and I want to know how to stand out when it seems like every gym is running the same ads.
I'd probably work with GMM. That'd be your best bet. Claim your free 30-day trial at GMM so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, it comes down to the stuff that I've already spoken about today, right? Like if you can speak directly to your individual, your ICP, hit the benefit bullets, hit the objection bullets, speak to an offer that's specific to them, make sure it's like real world imagery, happy, sweaty people doing unintimidating things that are in your target market. Like you're going to do way better than, the folks that are doing the same, like regurgitated shit. Like you can tell when people are working with a handful of different agencies in the space because they're literally running like the same like shitty image creative, like free 6-week challenge, this, that, and the other, and every piece of copy is exactly the same, whatever else. It's like if you can just speak directly to your target market in a way that is authentic to you, matches the brand voice, and most importantly resonates with the person on the other side, you're going to do all right. The other side of how to win in advertising, the thing that I don't know if we've talked about on these Q&As, is like the old Dan Kennedy rule, right? The person who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. And so if you can make your follow-up be completely on point, your sales process, everything else be so good on the back end that even if all of the ads were the same, you're creating more cash out of those advertising efforts than the gym down the street because they're being lazy on the follow-up or whatever else, you're going to do better. If you can structure your offer in such a way where you can collect more cash up front or turn that person into a member sooner than the person on the other side, like you're going to be able to spend more to acquire a customer than your competition and will be able to win in that way, right? Like I love the idea of just being able to get so good, so dialed on every piece of your sales process that it's like, yeah, I'm going to spend so much on advertising that I just discourage the fuck out of you, competition, right? That I make you get so discouraged you want to freaking give up. Right. Well, what does that mean? So you got to be able to freaking win with the ads, which means making everything as dialed in as you can possibly be, including the actual ad copy, resonating with the target market that you're attempting to reach, et cetera, but also making sure that your follow-up, your sales process, your offers are structured in such a way that you're collecting cash, you're able to scale up your ad spend, snuff out as much of, and I know a lot of us are friends with like people in the market, like snuff out everyone who's not your best buddy in the industry, within your 7-mile radius or whatever.
Cool. Okay. If I'm running ads and I have an idea that if I put the price in the ad, it's going to make it better. What is your hot take on this? Should I talk about price in my ads?
Most of the time, no. Right. So the issue with having price anywhere, and I would include this on your website, include this thought on the website. To be clear, I don't think you should have price on your website in most cases, is people are going to judge you based on whatever information you've given them, right? Whatever information they have. And so if they have price, they are going to judge you first and foremost, by and large, on price. And when they are judging you on price, oftentimes these prospects are going to be comparing you against any of the other shitty fitness experiences that they've had in the past, right? And a lot of them have probably been shitty because otherwise they wouldn't be considering opting in for your thing and looking for a new gym, right? And so if they've done a shitty XYZ boot camp thing and they paid $99 a month for it and they didn't get a result, and you put the price in your ad and your thing is $199 for 21 days or 30 days or whatever the hell it is, like in their head, even if your product is so far above the experience, so dramatically different in your head, it's like, dude, literally the $99 boot camp could not be more different than what we're doing. It doesn't matter to the eyes of your prospect. Your prospect doesn't have that information to judge you based on yet. Right? They're judging you based on price. And if they say, well, I spent $99, got shitty results at this thing, like, why would I spend $199 to get the same shitty results? Like, that's stupid. Scroll. Next. Right? And so I don't like putting price in the ad. I like pushing off price as far in the prospect's journey as possible so that they can have as much context and information. We've had the ability to create that context and provide information and connect the dots between where they are, where they're trying to go, and insert our product or service as the best choice of vehicle to help get them there. Like, I like pushing off price really late in the game. The lone caveat to that
would be if you're doing something that's super low price, where it's like, no, like this is truly fuck it priced. This is an offer that is too stupid to pass up. And I probably draw that line at like maybe 21 for 21. Like I don't think $14 for 99, that's a really popular thing. A lot of people come in thinking like they want to do that. I think it can be fine. Like go listen to the LBOs episode that we did, whatever, months ago at this point. I think they can be fine for referral offers, community events, things like that. But for ads, it's just not that compelling in the marketplace anymore, right? And I just don't think it's going to do that well. So by and large, no, do not put price in the ad. The lone exception would be, and it's the same logic for the website. If you've got more money than time, and you say like, no, dude, I do not want to sit down with anybody who is not completely 100% ready to give me their money, because I do not have the time on the calendar to deal with folks that are not financially qualified. By the way, that's like the rarest situation to be in as a gym owner, right? Then and only then would I consider like putting your price all over the place. Otherwise, keep it off until you can create more context.
The creatives in ads are images, video. I think that's the only kind of creatives. And of course, the editing you do over it, whether it has text or
like stuff like that, but still image and video. Yeah.
So how often should I change that for ads?
It's somewhat budget dependent. Most gyms, what we recommend is getting in there and making adjustments 2 times a week, right? You can kind of skew to 3 if you're at a little bit of a higher budget in some cases. But you want to think about this scientifically. And in order to think scientifically, you have to give yourself enough data to make a reasonable decision. Are we looking at p-values, right, in actual statistical significance on the data that we're looking at? No, we're not. But we do want to give things enough time to get some data to be able to make a strategic decision based off of. Typically for us, when we're managing our ads for our clients, we're adjusting and optimizing things a minimum of 2 times a week. 2 times a week is the typical like baseline number that we'd be looking at things. And we're going to look at all the stuff. So we're going to look at like, there's a whole progression. Like we want to look at the creative first, because we know we have good copy. So we're going to look at the creative first. We're going to look at the hooks in the headlines. Next, can we make adjustments to that? If we know we have winning creative, let's make an adjustment to that to see if we can improve the results. Then we might look at the full body copy. Last thing that we would look at would be the offer, because again, we know we're giving people proven offers here at GMM, but you're going to go through this whole like testing progression. And I recommend, scaling winners, killing losers, replacing those losers with things that are more like your winners, or your like sandboxy content. Oh, I want to test this type of variation, so I'm going to throw that in as my test for this week, right? Or my test for the next few days and see how that does.
Okay, sweet. Once I've found something that works, like you said, winners, when should I scale my ads?
Yeah, like you can start to do little micro scaling as soon as you see something that's working relatively well, right? Again, like this is it's a freaking, like ads are a big, crazy, complicated problem, right? Like this is not a paint by number, if this, do that. And it's just very, very clear exactly what the next move should be. What I'd be looking at in terms of the whole picture, it would be, how's my marketing performing as a whole in terms of, that ROAS, that 30 and 60-day cash collected ROI? Because if those things are doing well, then yes, I want to be upping my overall ad budget, like my daily ad budget, 10 to 15%. Typically every week. You could maybe push it to every few days, because you want to be gentle in doing that. Like say you're making a ton of money on your ads at $30 a day. You're like, oh, what would be better than turning 30 into 300, turning 100 into 1,000, right? Well, so let's jump to $100 a day, like immediately. That's not the smartest way to do it, right? Because you're not going to know what your sweet spot is in your market, and you may blow through that. So when I say sweet spot in the market, what I'm referring to is there's a point in every market where you spend more money and do not get significantly more leads. Your cost per lead goes way up, or whatever else. And so you want to find that sweet spot. That sweet spot varies market to market. And so if you're at $30 a day, you might go up, like you could probably push the percentages some and say, all right, I'm going to go from 30 to 40. Like that's probably okay. The numbers are small enough where that's probably all right. I'm going to see what happens this next week at $40 a day. If things go well, maybe I'll go to 45 or 50 the next week and repeat that process. Okay. So there's like the big daily ad budget adjustment for the entirety of your, meta ad campaign in this case. Then there is the micro adjustment within the actual ad campaign. So if you are spending $50 a day and you've got 5 different ads that you're testing at $10 a day, and one of them is crushing and the others are sort of maybe doing okay, you probably typically the way it works is you might have one that's doing really well, 2 that are doing okay, and then like 1 or 2 that are just like shitting the bed potentially. Well, what you could do is say, all right, I'm going to cut one of those $10 a day ads, and I'm just going to apply that budget directly to the ad that's crushing everything else. I'm going to move that one to $20 a day, and then I'm going to replace the other loser with something that is more like the winner, right? So I'm going to replace it with a different piece of creative, a different video, whatever it is, and see if I can't get the results of the overall campaign to improve. But if things are going well, like again, you can systematically start to move those things up. Typically what we recommend is a minimum of $5 per ad set. What we're seeing in our accounts right now, there's a little bit of a mix at this point between what we call CBO and ABO campaigns. Right, so CBO would be campaign budget optimization, where you tell Meta, we want to spend $50 a day, throw the budget wherever you think based on these creatives. In some accounts, it's like a lower percentage of accounts that's doing better than what we would typically recommend, which would be ad budget or ad set budget optimization, where we do 1 ad per ad set. And then we are forcing Facebook to spend, or forcing Meta to spend money on each of those ads. Like I just said, right? $10 per ad, 5 ads, $50 a day budget. And then we are going to systematically, we're going to force Meta to spend money on the best performing ones and scale those up over time. Again, it varies a little bit account to account. The lion's share recommendation, or what is it? The mode, again, talking about math, right? Mode is like the highest frequency thing or what have you. Like the mode option, is that correct? Is the mode is the number that happens the most in a sequence, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we'll double check, but I believe that's true.
Yeah. Jamie, look that up, Jamie. But yeah, like the most frequent method of management is still ABO for us, where we're forcing the spend. And I think that answered the question potentially. Okay.
It does answer it. And yes, can confirm. We're actually sponsored by Google Gemini, and it did confirm that mode is the most frequent. So you've mentioned like pruning the losers, scaling the winners. How do I know if an ad is winning?
Yeah, typically for gyms, you're just going to be looking at cost per lead, right? So cost per lead is the data to end all data within 99.9% of gyms' ad accounts, right? That's not to say that we're only looking at cost per lead as the only thing that matters in our overall advertising efforts. We still need to be looking at ROI, 30-day cash collected, 60-day LTV to CAC, whatever, all those different variables that we talked about, I think, in the first Q&A. But by and large, you're looking at your cost per lead in comparison to the other things going on within your account. How do you know if stuff is actually winning overall? Well, you look at those other data points that we referenced in the first episode.
And what do I do when performance, whether it's cost per lead or whatever it might be, starts to drop?
Yeah, so it depends, right? So is this the overall campaign? Like your winners are no longer, producing at the way your winning stuff used to, and you've tried all the different micro tests and everything else, and it's just like not hitting. Well, it may be time to do like a full refresh, right? Like we're changing up the hooks and the copy and the angles and the offers and everything else, and throwing some new tests, some new bait in there. I like personally to keep our controls running, right, and not completely throw the baby out with the bathwater on new offers. Like sometimes it's if we've tried everything else the way I've talked about earlier in this episode, right? The creative, the hooks and headlines, the copy, we've tested those variations all around the same offer, different wrappers, etc. Then it may be time to change your offer. And then that's like a completely new campaign with new creative related to that offer, new copy, new hooks and headlines, et cetera, and see if that improves things.
And how many ads should I be running at once?
Yeah, so that's going to be dependent on your budget. So typically, like our average is probably, 6 or so ads for a given campaign. Again, you need a minimum of $5 per ad set is what we recommend. So if your budget's $15 a day, you're not going to be running 6 or 8 different split tests, right? It's going to take you so long to get viable data that it doesn't make sense. So if you're at $15 a day, you could be running 3 ad sets. If it's 20, that opens it up to 4, or 2 at 10, or 3 at whatever it is, $6 and however many cents, 66 cents, I think. So you're going to split it up in that way. Typically, I'd say minimum of 3, maximum of 6 to 8 for most gyms, because they're going to be like sub $100 a day, budget wise. And then you're going through that data twice a week, looking at the different variables and things like that. Oh, what's winning? What's doing the best? All right, let me test more stuff like this. Do I want to test a different hook and angle with the same creative now? Because we think we found some winning variations of creative that are performing better. All right, let's see if we can improve results further. Do we try a completely different like copy angle, different benefits and objection bullets, right? As the, the subpoints of the ad, et cetera, et cetera. So, but typically, it's going to be 3 to 6, 3 to 8.
And I want to do everything I can to get the best results. So should I test multiple offers or just one offer?
I don't like running multiple offers at the same time unless I'm running them to very distinct populations. So if I'm a sport performance and an adult fitness facility, yeah, I'm probably going to have a different offer for my sport performance kids than I am for my adults. But I'm going to know when I talk to the prospect and I see the tags or whatever else, like, okay, this is a sport performance person, like we're good. I do not like to run the same, like different offers to the same population at the same time, just because it's freaking confusing. Right? Like you've got to relay that information, or if it's just you, keep that information at top of mind for every single prospect that's coming in. And if you're like back to back booked on consults in a given evening, and one person's coming in for this offer, the other person's coming in for the different one, like that's tough, right? That's mental load that I don't think is worthwhile, right? So I would be, can you test multiple offers? Yeah, absolutely. Test multiple offers. Like find the thing that's going to resonate best with your market, but I'm testing them one at a time.
And it's like you just said with changing whether it's copy creative or whatnot, you can run different hooks, but still keep it logistically simple on the back end with just that one offer
Yes.
at a time. So I love that.
Yep, absolutely.
How
Absolutely.
often should I launch new campaigns on meta ads?
Yeah, so that's we have a little bit of a different spin on this than I hear from lots of different agencies. So I know there used to be like some pitchy stuff that used to be like, you'll get a new offer every single month. And that sounds really shitty to me, right? Like that is not GMM's philosophy, right? So you getting a new offer every single month, like I guess it sort of makes you think that your agency is doing some stuff for you potentially, although like, are they adjusting things twice a week, or are they just like throwing up an ad with a new offer and then leaving it alone for a month unless you get really, really grumpy with them? Like we've seen that happen in lots of other agencies. That accounts, like just saying, throwing it out there. But dude, that sounds so annoying to me. Like if I was still a gym owner and you're making me change my offer every single month, like think about all the things that have to change when you change an offer. If you're going to do it well, you've got to change your follow-up. Right? You got to change the copy and the ad and the offer and the hooks. Like you got to change all this stuff with the ad. You got to change the landing page form or the landing page or the lead form. You've got to change the follow-up process. You got to go change the stuff in the back end of your membership management software. You got to change the way you talk to people, right? Like what all that looks like in the actual consult process. You got to change your price sheets that you're going to show people if you're using price sheets. Like you got to change a bunch of stuff. And if you've got a team, if you're not the only one handling this entire process, every time you change the offer, you got to make sure your team has their shit together on all this stuff too, right? Not to mention the back-end conversion mechanism that will typically change when you change your offer, which means like your training team or your admin structure on the back end also has to be aware of what's going to change. Like, oh, this month it's a 21-day this. Okay, cool. Well, a 21-day this has a different conversion mechanism than a 7-day free trial, has a different conversion mechanism than a 6-week, paid whatever the hell thing, right? Those are all different processes that you have to be dealing with on the back end. And so our philosophy at GMM is we want to find an offer that works and then help you milk that for as long as we possibly can. We'll dress it up in a ton of different ways. We'll do different hooks, headlines, seasonal wrappers, creative, like whatever, the whole stuff. But dude, I want you to be able to get really, really stinking good. Like this is what is it, Bruce Lee? Like I don't feel the person that's practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I feel the person that's practiced one kick 10,000 times, right? Who's going to be better as a gym owner? The person that's done, like, again, we really successful gym owner in freaking New Jersey, however many bajillion locations at this point. They built the lion's share of their business off of 14-day free trials. That's it. That's all they did, right? Business for years and years and years. And for a while there, when we were running all their stuff, it was like they might have changed their offer once or twice and then gone back to the 14-day thing. Like they were really freaking dialed on that process, and they were really stinking good at it because they had done it over and over and over and over. And if you're marketing, your marketing or your marketing vendor can keep squeezing juice out of that campaign, it allows you to get really, really good on the back end at what you're fulfilling on, how you're following up, what your sales process looks like, et cetera, et cetera. So you are killing it at execution on that front. So how should you launch new campaigns? Like, man, I'm only doing a new offer if we have exhausted the hell out of, what's been working so far. Now, would I change things more often? Gym owner comes in and they want to run an LBO. Okay. And they're an adult business owner. They've got their shit together. So we say, okay, dear gym owner, like we're going to try to do everything we can to make your LBO work. It's like, it's doing okay, but it's not doing as great as we'd really like it to. We're seeing better results with other clients that are doing what we freaking say to do. Would we be completely opposed to testing a different offer? Well, then we might test a different offer, right? A little sooner in the process and see if we can't find something that's going to be that just workhorse for you on the paid ad front for that arm of your acquisition efforts. And try to milk the shit out of it forever, right?
All right, GR. Do I just need better ads, or is my whole business the issue?
Oh, the banger last question of the podisode. Oh, I fucking love it. Do I just need better ads, or is my business the issue? Yeah. Well, that's a complicated as fuck question. Here's the deal. We don't know. Right. And so this is where it's valuable to get that outside eye. Like for this person, I am literally saying, like, stop listening to the podcast and go book a call with our squad. Because like our squad will talk to you about the rest of your business picture. Because oftentimes, like, we'll talk to gyms, particularly those that are struggling a little bit, or if they've never been able to figure out the paid traffic or whatever else, and they want more, right? Because there's absolutely, like, candidly, some of these gym owners, it's like, I'm totally cool with the trajectory of the business. I'm doing some work organically, but I'm cool with the inputs that are required to get that organic growth. I'm not trying to double or triple or, add 50 members or whatever it is. Like my goals are within reach based on the current trajectory within a period of time that is acceptable to me as the gym owner. You probably don't need to look at everything. Like you're fine. But if you want more, or you're just like freaking in struggle bus mode, oftentimes there is stuff going on with the business. And so we will look at your pricing structure, what the follow-up looks like, what the expenses look like, what your actual memberships are, everything else. Because one of the biggest mistakes that we see gym owners make is they're trying to grow a model that is just not built to ever get them what they want to get out of the business. Now, there are tons of other agencies that will take your money if you're in that seat and just say, oh, like, you want leads? Like, great, pay us. Oh, we'll get you leads. You'll totally get more money, like whatever else. But you are inherently building a thing that is never going to give you what you want out of it. Like, that does not make sense to me. And so, like, one of the first pieces of our process, if you sign up as a client at GMM, is like, we're going to look through all those things with you and make sure that your business model is actually structured appropriately to spit out whatever your personal goals are as the gym owner. You want multiple locations? We need to make sure it's set up a certain way for that. You want to just like be really profitable at one, business needs to be set up a certain way for that, and on, right? All the different variables. It could be follow-up, right? It could be the sales process. It could be the way you're structuring an offer. Like, I can't tell you if it's just your ads are broken. You, as somebody who sells ads to gyms, it's like ads are often not the only problem that you need to fix. They are a problem, and they are, I think without good lead gen, none of the rest of the stuff can be solved. So it's like one of the things that you actually like absolutely need to get taken care of as the gym owner, because that is like your leads are really the
Like, they are the lifeblood. They are the mountain from which the rivers of money and the rivers of gold flow. If you don't have that, then like, where's your opportunity? Like, there's no juice there. There's nowhere to grow from. You don't have anybody coming in the door, like any opportunities coming in the door, let alone like to actually turn them into appointments and everything else. Like, you're just stuck. Fuck. That sucks. Right. So like, are ads a thing that need to be fixed for you? Like, yeah, probably, particularly if you're in struggle bus mode. But we do need to look at the rest of the business as well. And the best thing there is to talk to us and our team. Like, we make an offer to 30 or 40% of the gym owners that we talk to. That means more often than not, we are telling you, yeah, like, you don't need us. Like, it's not a fit, and that's okay. Right. A lot of times those gym owners end up coming back later because they're like, this was like the most helpful conversation I had with a supposedly like pitchy fucking sales call thing. Like, now that I do have the goals, or I do have the bandwidth, or whatever, right? Individual situations, like, now I want to work with you guys. So that's totally cool, right? Like, it is not a hyper pitch fest. So I would absolutely, like, the person asking this question, get on a freaking call. Like, you should have booked one already. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Is that the last one? Is there more you want to unpack there? Or was that like, okay?
Nope, you nailed it. And yeah, our salespeople also happen to be very highly tenured fitness business coaches. And so we pride ourselves on treating you like you're a member of our own family. And whether we do business with you or not, our goal is just to help you succeed, whatever that looks like. So, gym owners, thanks for watching. We love you.
Love hugs. Talk soon. Leave a 5-star review. Subscribe. Do all those fun podcasty, YouTubey things. And Dave will fly to your house and bake you cookies.